Right. So first topic we have discussed is related to Sawalkot Hydel project. Pakistan has raised concern with reference to India. Sawalkot project basically it is a hydel electricity project. So we know that basically after Pahalgam attack itself, we can say what is the decision government of India had taken to suspend the Indus Water Treaty. So Indus Water Treaty was suspended, and if Indus Water Treaty is suspended, that means under this treaty, basically we have 6 rivers: Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab. These are called as the west flowing rivers. West flowing rivers, on that Chenab river, you have the project that is being commissioned. So as per Indus Water Treaty, the water right over these rivers were granted to Pakistan. But since treaty has been suspended, now India has decided to use this water for its own purpose, and that's why a lot of dam has been being constructed right now. And one of such project that India has decided to go ahead with is the Sawalkot project as such. It is because of this now what Pakistan has stated, that India should not unilaterally withdraw from the treaty as such. India should not overall without any consultation go ahead with Sawalkot project. So that is why it was in news. That's the first thing. Then what is the Pakistan position? Same thing. Treaty cannot be altered through the unilateral action. The treaty was signed between three, basically we can say, parties. You have India, Pakistan, and intermediary was World Bank. So under this treaty, 1960, you have Ayub Khan from Pakistan, Jawaharlal Nehru from India. So they were the one who have finally signed this treaty. So that's why Pakistan has urged India to comply fully as far as treaty obligation is concerned. Plus also it has reaffirmed commitment to dialogue and legal mechanism. If any dispute arises, you have 3-tier mechanism here. In the first case, any dispute has to be resolved by bilateral mechanism. If suppose it cannot be resolved here, then the matter can be referred to neutral expert committee. And if here also it cannot be solved, in that case the last and ultimate stage is court of arbitration. So that's what Pakistan is saying, that because of the dispute that it has over the such kind of project like Sawalkot, we should follow this particular procedure, rather than completely abrogating the treaty as such. That is the concern. Now, if you look at the Sawalkot project itself, one of the tributary, actually, if you look at river Indus, Chenab is considered as what? The largest tributary of river Indus. And overall on this, in the Ramban district, you have Jammu and Kashmir. Location wise, something we can say here, at this particular place. That is where 1856 megawatt of project is being commissioned by India, that is called as Sawalkot project. This is the term that you should keep in mind. What kind of project it is? Run of the river project. That means here water will not be stored for a long duration of time. Water simply will be diverted from its original paths, and using that we will rotate the turbine, generate the electricity. That means what is significance of this term here? It simply means that Pakistan will not suffer from any water problem. If suppose we had constructed a large dam here and stored water, right, and then gradually, slowly and slowly we are sending the water from the gate and rotating the turbine. In this case, Pakistan will suffer more. Why? Because we have stored all the water here, only a small amount of water is now going to Pakistan, or a part of water is going to Pakistan. In Run of the River project, entire river water still is flowing to Pakistan. We are simply diverting it from one part to other part so that we can use it to run the turbine. So we can also generate hydroelectricity without creating problem for the people of Pakistan in the agricultural area specifically, right? That is the significance of Run of the River project, and that always has the stand of, it has been the stand of India, that such kind of project, no matter whether India is constructing on Western River or Eastern River, does not violate the Indus Water Treaty, because Indus Water Treaty is only about what? The sharing of the water as such. So still Pakistan receives same volume of water. India is not cutting that supply. So that is how it says that it is as per the IWT as such. Concrete gravity dam plus reservoir, small reservoir will be built here also. Initiated 1984, declared as today as project of national importance. What is the strategic and economic significance? So roughly 7,000 million units of annual electricity you can produce by this hydel project. Hydropower capacity you have in Jammu and Kashmir, huge potential you have. at actually only 20% of the potential electricity we are only producing from Jammu and Kashmir, because we have such kind of terrain, mountainous terrain, valley terrain, gorge and all that. So it enhances hydropower capacity in Jammu and Kashmir. Simple thing, optimizes utilization of western rivers, also strengthen energy security and regional development, plus strategically important amid IWT tension. India has been using IWT or Indus Waters Treaty also as a diplomatic measure to apply pressure on what? Pakistan. Okay, because to a large extent, entire fertile agriculture area of Pakistan is dependent upon Indus Water Treaty. So any changes being done here will obviously hit the nerve in Pakistan. So India has been using it as a tool to ensure that Pakistan is stopped sponsoring cross-border terrorism. That's why initially after Pahalgam attack, what did we do? What did we do? We took such kind of measure as such. Only several weeks later, then we carried out or conducted Operation Sindhu. So military strike came later. First was diplomatic strike by suspending IWT. Apart from that, several other projects now government has given green flag to, like Salal, Dulhasti, Baglihar. Now these values you do not have to remember. Okay, these are just for understanding purposes. You do not have to focus on the value as such. What you have to focus on, where these projects are being commissioned, which river of or which tributary river of Indus as such. So all of these are on which river? Same river, that is Chenab. Okay, so Riyasi, Kistwar, Ramban, these are the districts here. Collectively, overall, it will contribute to regional energy supply, water resource utilization, and strategic leverage, as you have discussed under Indus Water Treaty framework as such. Right. So this is the representation. If you'll see here, in class also we have discussed in river system. Indus, Chenab, Jhelum. These three are to Pakistan, and three rivers that you see here, eastern river, they are Ravi, Byas and Satluj. So water is given to India. So it's look like three river to India, three river to Pakistan, but that is not the case, because if you to calculate the value of volume of water, right, 80% is flowing in the western river. Only 20% right is given to Pakistan. That's India. That is why it is also considered as one of the most unjust treaty, water sharing treaty that you have in the world. Nowhere else in the world you will see the country through which river passes through is giving so much water to the riparian state located in the downward region. Okay, lower riparian state term that we use. So that's the point. Right. One term you should keep in mind. Many time it comes, and you should use it if you're writing answer related to India-Pakistan relation in this Indo-China relation also, or Indo-Bangladesh relation, we can say. What is the term? Lower riparian and upper riparian. This term you would see everywhere in newspaper. Lower riparian means the country located in the lower part of the river. Upper riparian means country located in the upper part of the river. Water will always flow, river will always flow from where to where? Upper riparian to lower riparian. So if I talk about river Indus, which is the uppermost riparian country? China, okay, uppermost, then India, then, right. So lowermost Pakistan, uppermost India, in between you have China. Second question, second topic was related to gravity. Okay, on gravity's role in the Earth's journey through space. Based on that article was published in the Hindu newspaper. So some new insights were given. New means already people knew about it, but okay, if you try to understand what is gravity, it is a force that is invisible in nature. Okay, only can be felt. Right. Earlier, many scientists also in the beginning tried to find some particles, like for example, light you see. Right. So light, now we have established that light is what? Movement of particle, photons. Right. You can capture photon. But similar kind of attempt was made in the case of gravity, that there must be some kind of particle that scientists referred as graviton. So they many years they tried to find out graviton but could not find it. Okay, so that is why now we call it as what kind of force? Invisible force. It cannot be seen at all. But we know that the force is responsible for what? Holding humans, ocean, atmosphere, all life forms where on the surface of Earth itself. Now also we know that it is the force that prevent object from drifting into space. It is the same force that cause apple to, right, fall where? On the Newton's head as such, right. So a few days back there was someone that who is writing that if Newton was born in India, okay, some construction would have fallen on his head, okay, then he would have discovered gravity as such. He was in England, that is why only apple fell. Ensure Earth remains structurally stable despite constant motion. Okay, so we know that you have sun in the central part and all the planets including Earth are moving around it. right? So how are they able to move? Because they are influenced by the sun's gravity. So it talks about that gravitational force is not only attractive force, it also is example of which kind of force? Centripetal force. It pulls every object toward the center of the heaviest object. So moon is pulled toward the center of earth, earth is pulled toward the center of sun. But because they have been given motion in the early stage of formation, they keep on rotating, okay, as such. That is what the topic was. Gravity as a centripetal force. Gravity is not just a downward force. It does not pull everything down. Obviously, whatever you throw in the sky, it finally ultimately falls back on the surface. So it seems that gravity is only a downward force, but that is not correct. It is also acting as a centripetal force, as we can see from here. Earth is revolving, rotating. So if satellite is orbiting around Earth, satellite also experiences which kind of force? Centripetal force, okay, being pulled by the earth towards center. Because of this, moon remains in the orbit around the earth as such. Because of this, earth also keeps on revolving around the sun, okay. Without gravity, what will happen? Celestial bodies would move in a straight line. Why they are moving in a particular orbit? It is because of centripetal force as such, okay. It's kind of tensional force. You can imagine like this: you tie a small piece of rock in a thread and you, okay, rotate it. So what happens? A kind of tensile force to the string that is passing to rock, that can be considered as what? Equivalent to centripetal force itself. If suppose someone come and cut the rock while you are rotating it through thread, what happens to the rock particle, rock piece? It would simply move tangentially and move in a straight line. So what is keeping rock in a circular orbit? It is that centripetal force. So something similar kind of idea we'll have here. Planetary motion of earth, simple basic facts from examination perspective. In geography we have studied also. One revolution earth completes around sun in how much time? 1 year. 1 year we have defined as 365 days and what else? No, 365 days is the definition of year. If question is asked how much time does earth take to complete one revolution, then what should be the answer? Right, 6 hours. Each year 6 hours keep on adding, and end of 4 year you have 24 hours that is added as an extra day in the leap year as such, right? So that's why I told you that when you're writing the prelims examination more specifically, try to focus on what exactly the statement is saying rather than making judgment in the first glance. Always, even if you are sure that you know this answer, go through it second time, then only you can pick the correct option. Travels nearly 1 billion kilometers annually. We have discussed that also in the first class, that at the center of Milky Way galaxy sits your black hole, and the entire solar system is what? Revolving around black hole. So earth is also revolving around the sun, and at the same time it is also moving along the sun around the center of galaxy. Continuous motion governed by gravitational attraction. If suppose sun's gravity suddenly vanishes, what would happen? All the solar system would simply disintegrate, okay. All the planets would randomly disappear here and there in the outer space as such. Speed, simple, 30 km per second, easier to remember. If you convert in hour, it becomes something like this, okay. So that's the speed at which you are moving. So next time when someone asks you that why you're not doing something, okay, point to it, okay, that even when you're not doing something, what you're doing? Moving at 30 km per second, okay. What else you want? So that's the point. Why we do not feel this, that we are moving, traveling? Simply because you are part of the earth itself, okay. Same thing like for example in the aircraft, when the flight is moving, you do not feel that you are also moving. You feel what? Stationary fully. Why? Because uniform velocity is there, acceleration is missing, plus you are part of the same system, okay. If earth was keep on accelerating, then you would have felt the force due to inertia, okay. So that's the point. Motion in near vacuum of space. Also question is asked that why earth is rotating and revolving for such a long period of time, millions and millions of years, billions of years actually you can say has passed. Why earth or any such object has kept on moving in the space? One reason given is that it is a complete vacuum, practical vacuum you can say, and vacuum means no other forces are acting on the solar system, okay, acting on the sun, earth and all that. So friction is negligible, air resistance is negligible, surface friction is negligible. So imagine that someone has given an initial push to the earth. If only extra force was applied over it, it would have slowed down gradually. But what is going on? Force, external force is almost negligible, zero in nature. That is why for millions and millions, billions and billions of years, the object keep on moving. So the near vacuum space that we inhabit, the region behind continuous motion as such. planets continue moving without any constant energy input. Okay, like for example, if you have top, spinning top, you throw a spinning top, what happens? Initially it rotates at fast speed, then gradually what happens? It start to slow down and finally comes to stop. What is the reason? Because it is rotating on surface. Surface is exerting frictional forces. It is rotating in the atmosphere. Air is exerting what? Frictional force. So surface drag, frictional force, all of this causes the top to stop spinning. If suppose you spin the top in a vacuum, what will happen? Keep on spinning as such. So that is the reason behind this. Then rejection. One theory was given by early 19th century, given by Michelson and Morley. Okay, sorry, not given by Michelson, Morley. Michelson, Morley disapproved it. Earlier scientists used to think that in space it is not completely a vacuum. Space is filled up with some material. What is that material? Used to call it ether. Okay, that entire space you have accumulation of material that we cannot see, matter we cannot see. They used to call it as ether, filling the space. But later on, Michelson-Morley experiment was conducted in 1887 and that's completely disapproved it. They say that no invisible medium exists. It is a vacuum. Earth moves through which kind of space? Not through ether. Earth moves through what? Empty space. So it is news. UPSC can give this kind of question in prelims. They keep on asking such kind of question. Like few years back, Higgs boson or God's particle was in news. Okay, so they ask question related to that. Big Bang, this when you have the black hole. First time when we photograph it in 2018, you have question related to black hole and all that. So easily they can ask about the ether. Okay, they can give the statement that scientists have proven that Earth moves through medium called as ethers around this cover, this filling the entire space. True or false? Right? That would be false. We have conclusively proven today that such particles or medium do not exist. A strengthened modern understanding of space physics. And when we talk about modern understanding, earlier it was governed by whose law? Newton's law was the dominant law. Okay, explaining everything. Later on, then came Einstein. So he gave slightly different concept related to the movement of space, time, and this every celestial body as such. So we do not have to go into detail, but overall concept of time space continuum he has given. So that is the second topic. Third is few months back itself, this substance was in news called as resin. Okay, resin also referred as the deadliest. Okay, many people say that it can be considered as the deadliest bio weapon that can be used against people. Some even call it more threatening than nuclear weapon as such. So related to that, some news we had. So recently, anti-terrorism squad, ATS squad of Gujarat, okay, they were the first who arrested few individuals, okay, who were basically trying to what? Plot a bioterrorism attack over India. And what material they were trying to use? They were trying to weaponize this resin as such. So recently it was news because we have discussed in internal security challenges that the main or lead terrorist or anti-terrorist agency in India is which one? After 2008, we had come up with National Investigation Agency. So no matter which state, which union territory, wherever you have the terror related plot and attacks, NIA can take over the investigation without any approval from a state government. So NIA has taken over the probe in this particular case from the Gujarat Anti-Terrorism Squad. Gujarat ATS is run by state government. NIA is which agency? Central government agency. So central government agency NIA has been empowered. It can take any investigation into its own hand without approval of state government. So that's what they have did. First alleged bioterrorism plot. That is what makes it very significant. Okay, earlier in other countries we have seen such kind of plot. Like during the 2001 in United States of America, anthrax was a substance that was largely being used by terrorists, okay, to create panic in the US as such. Or before that we have seen in Syria sarin gas being used as such. In Vietnam you have use of Agent Orange, right? Mustard gas was used. But in case of India, bioterrorism plot related to this was first time we have found it. Largely it was Hyderabad-based doctor who has been accused of attempting to weaponize ricin and raises concern of misuse of dual-use biological agent. That is how I describe it. Dual use means it can be used for two purposes. One for peaceful purpose. Peaceful purpose means harmless purposes. And other as a weapon as such, right? So that is the point. Now question is that what is bioterrorism? Simple. What you can say? Use of any biological agents or toxin. It can be microorganisms such as viruses, bacteria, okay, or it can be any such kind of agent like ricin. With what objective? Whenever term terrorism is given, what is the main objective? To cause harm, fear or mass disruption. Okay, that is how terrorists thrive. Often involves dual use substances. We have discussed dual use means legitimate use plus there is a potential of misuse as such, right? Threats include what? Same, biological pathogens or toxic proteins like ricin as we have seen in this case, and it poses also national security risk as well as public health challenge, okay, because if you can weaponize it form of this we can say aerosol, okay, imagine you have a crowded place and such kind of substances you suddenly pump in the air, what will happen? Mass casualty we can see there. Or you mix it with the drinking water, mix it with the food samples, food articles and all that. What we can do? You can cause massive casualty, mass casualty. That is why it has become a potent public health challenge as well as national security risk. Now, what is ricin? So, ricin basically is extracted from the seed of castor bean. Castor is used for what? Manufacturing of oil. So, use of oil is legitimate purpose, okay, peaceful purpose, we can say harmless purpose. But when you derive from castor bean ricin called as Ricinus communis, it become a kind of extremely potent, potence means fatal, type 2 ribosome inactivating protein. That means it basically causes what? Inactivation of protein. It penetrates to the cell wall and then it goes and basically inactivate the protein. If protein inactivates in the cell, cell will die. Our entire body is what? How it functions because of the multiplication of cell, division of cell and all that. So, if cell death occur, tissue will die, organ will die and finally, right, individuals will also die. So, that is how it basically causes death. Naturally occurring toxin extracted using industrial solvent from castor oil residue. Same thing, dual use risk that we can flag here. So, that's what make it more dangerous, because if it was something that we can call as a controlled substance that anyone cannot get their hand over it easily, then for terrorists also it becomes difficult to use it. This is something that is commonly found everywhere. What do you need? You only need this industrial solvent to extract it, okay. So, anyone who is willing to do so can do that. That makes it dangerous. Threat level and health impact. What is mechanism? Same, blocks protein synthesis, causes cell, tissue, organ death, effect, damage, organ failure, death in high doses. And most interestingly, if even some person is brought to the doctor or medical hospital facilities and doctor is able to understand that he has consumed ricin, what is the problem? Antidote is not available. So, even if doctor want, saving life becomes very difficult in this case, right? So, that's also the reason why we have higher threat level. International security status classified as Schedule 1 substance under one international convention you have, Chemical Weapon Convention. India also is signatory of Chemical Weapon Convention. There it is considered as Schedule 1 substance. That means potential of misuse is very, very high. Plus limited legitimate use also you have. A strict international monitoring and compliance obligation countries have as far as the ricin is concerned. So, that is as far as the international security state is concerned. Operational history, it has been used many times in targeted assassinations. Okay, recently I think it was news. You have in Russia one opposition leader, Alexei Navalny, was killed. Okay. So, not this one, but some kind of substance was used for assassination. So, many times people are using such kind of substances for targeted assassination. No successful large scale, however, mass casualty we have reported as far as the ricin is concerned. What is the reason? Many experts argue that the way how terrorists can weaponize it, I told you, by using it as a aerosol. The problem is that ricin molecule are not very light, okay, not very small. They are sufficiently large in size and they cannot remain in the air for long period of time. Okay, even if you spread in the air, what will happen? In few seconds, all of this will settle into the ground. So, the inhalation would be relatively less. Okay. So, that is the one constraint that terrorists face. Technical difficulty in mass production also, because you need huge amount of castor oil, okay, and seeds. Then only you can produce sufficiently high volume of ricin. Okay. So, that is something that is the reason why we have seen limited use and no successful large scale mass casualty as such. But because it has emerged as a threat, we have to be careful about this, okay, how we tackle this problem. Then next topic is related to India and Seychelles. Seychelles is a small African country. It was news because both countries recently have held their business roundtable. Not very important, but that is why it was a new business roundtable. Focus is on what? Because Seychelles is an Indian Ocean country. Which kind of country? Island country. So, whenever you have island country, what you can think of? Which kind of will have relation? Related to maritime trade. Plus, where else we can cooperate? In the area of blue economy. Blue economy means related to marine resources, fish resources. Okay, reinforces Seychelles' role in India's Indian oceanitories lined with India's. India has come up earlier. India gave a this Sagar doctrine. Later on, it was transformed to Mahasagar. Sagar means, okay, it stands for the philosophy on the basis of which India tried to maintain relation with the Indian Ocean countries. So, security and growth for all in region. That is the policy of India. That means all the countries which are in island in the Indian Ocean, no matter whether they are small country, large country, militarily powerful or not powerful, what India want for them? They should be secure. They should not face any external threat. Plus, they should also, right, grow together. Security and growth for all in the region. Which region? Indian Ocean region largely. Now they have added what? Maha. Maha stand for the same thing, mutual and holistic. Okay, that they have added here. So mutual and holistic advancement. What does it mean? Security and growth we want, but we do not want by how we want it. Okay, we do not want to impose our model on smaller countries. What do we want? Mutual. That means both countries should agree. Holistic. It should cover all the dimensions of a country. It can be economy, it can be politics, it can be defense, security, economy, everything like that. So mutual and holistic advancement of security and growth for all in region. This is the guiding policy of India's outreach to countries in the Indian Ocean, and very, very important. For example, in international relations, if you're writing about India's policy, okay, or India's relation with the Indian Ocean countries, what you cannot miss out on? Mahasagar. You have to this necessarily write this. Areas of cooperation same: blue economy, tourism, hospitality, healthcare, pharmaceutical, education, skill development, financial services collaboration, ocean-based sustainable development. Okay, so that is because of the island nature of the country as such. Now, from exam perspective, geographical understanding we need to have about this country, because where is it located first of all? So let us look at first the broader picture. Okay, so we have African continent here. Okay, and here you have the, which island is it? Madagascar. Slightly you go to the south of Madagascar. This island here is which one? This is the Seychelles. Okay, so it's located to the south of Madagascar. And now if you look at the zoomed in picture, this is the island that you have here. Seychelles. What is the capital of Seychelles? Victoria. Okay, so sovereign island nation. Total how many islands it has? 155 islands, as we have seen, located in the western part of Indian Ocean near the Madagascar, northeast of Madagascar of East African coast. This we have discussed when we talked about the climate of India. I told you about tropical easterly jet stream. It rises from Tibet, then it moves like this and it descends in the Indian Ocean. Where does it descend over Indian Ocean? Mascarene. Okay, so Mascarene high term we have used, one of the places from where high pressure belt is generated that pushes the southwest monsoon winds toward India as such. Okay, so tropical easterly jet stream, where does it descend? Answer would be Mascarene. And Seychelles is an island located on what? Mascarene plateau. Okay, so it's like this. Yeah, it's like the ocean. We have discussed from due to volcanic eruption, what do you have? A lot of islands, mountains, okay, volcanic plateaus and all that form here. So similar kind of plateau exists here. A part of plateau that is above the sea level will resemble like what? Island. And one of such island you have is Seychelles. So if you try to think of, this is just a small fraction of the entire island that you are seeing here. If you go bottom below the sea level, what you will see? Such kind of large structure. Okay, so part of Mascarene plateau itself. Capital Victoria, located on which island? One of the island is Mahe, right? Total 155 islands. Out of that, on Mahe Island, you have capital Victoria. Also, it is considered as what? Which continent is it part of? Africa, Madagascar, all these islands that you have nearby, they are considered as part of African continent, and also the least populated country in entire African continent. So, smallest island, least populated country, that is the Sri Lanka. The strategic implication is simple because it is located along the key Indian Ocean sea lines of communication as such. Sea lines of communication means through this route, lot of trade is flowing through. It can be oil, gas, other merchandise and all that. Important for global maritime trade flows and all. A strategic location between Africa and Asia. And why we want to have our this degree of control here? Because China is also trying to build what? Lot of ports, infrastructure. Okay, to overall we can say to surround India. Okay, string of pearl policy would have read about, heard about. So that is also why we are trying to increase our presence in this area. Recently, we also have come to an agreement with Seychelles that they will host a military base, okay, of India in the Seychelles as such. But again, after some days they refuse it, maybe because of Chinese pressure and all that, okay. But earlier they were agreeing to it. Critical in which kind of operation? Anti-piracy and maritime domain awareness, okay. Anti-piracy means what? Simple, pirates are active all across this region. Somalia you have in the upper part as such. So there it can be play important role. Key partners same in Sagar support India's Indian Ocean diplomacy here, enhances maritime security cooperation also. Together we can ensure that maritime security is not compromised. And these days India has been taking active part in such kind of operations. Like if you look at this area, recently this region was also news. Here you have a small country on the Arabian Peninsula called as Yemen. And this is again a very vital trade route, sea route called as Red Sea. So Houthi rebels you would have heard about in Yemen. Houthi rebels have been continuously doing what? Attacking ships here. Okay, they were also capturing a lot of ships and all that. So Indian Navy was continuously carrying out what you can say anti-piracy operations here, joint operation with the French Navy, British Navy and all that. So that is the reason why we are also trying to ensure that this area also remain completely piracy free. Because even though Indian ships are not being attacked, for example, cost of shipping increases, because if a ship is transporting something through the area where piracy is common, they will not charge same amount, they will charge what? Premium. Insurance cost will also be what? Higher, because insurers will know that there is a high chance the ship might get damaged. So this also increases the overall import cost of merchandise such as oil and gas, on which India is strongly dependent upon. So imagine 85% of our oil and gas dependency is on import as such. Even if a small amount of price is seen there, it would have ramifications on inflation in India. Economic cost will be higher. That's why we are trying to increase that, ensure that maritime security is not compromised, at least around the routes that India control. Way forward is simple. Deepen maritime infrastructure cooperation, expand defense and coast guard coordination we can do, because how will ensure maritime security? We have to have cooperation with the naval, in the naval areas. Promote sustainable ocean resource management, same thing. Strengthen regional stability under which vision? Mahasagar vision, okay, and that is what we are trying to do. Then next is related to Assam rifles. Assam rifle also we have studied in the internal security. It is considered as what? The oldest. Assam rifle can be considered as what? Oldest paramilitary force of India. Okay, total 7 CAPF for paramilitary forces we have discussed. 4 of them are border guarding forces, 3 are CRPF, CASF, National Security Guard. One of the border guarding forces is one? Assam rifle. Now why Assam rifle is in news? Because it has decided to induct more indigenous dogs, dog breed under Atmanirbhar push. So we know that Assam Rifles also is engaged in counter-terror operation, anti-narcotics operation, right? So what do they need? They need canine squad, dog squad. What? Why? To detect bombs, to detect narcotics, drugs and all that. So till now they are completely dependent on which kind of breeds? Foreign breeds, okay, like German Shepherd you have, right? You have the other some breeds also you have that is being used here. Now what they are saying? That we will recruit who? Indigenous dog breeds, okay. Why? Because every sector we are focusing upon what? Self-reliance, okay, reducing the import and dependency on foreign countries. So that is a question, that was a news. Assam rifle to phase out foreign dog breed. When they have given the target? By year 2050, because already so many dogs are in operation, you cannot simply remove them, okay, they will also lose job, how they eat, right? So you also think about dogs. So by 2050 we'll completely phase out foreign dog and will be completely reliant on Indian breeds. 2025 directives of Ministry of Home Affairs. Why Assam Rifle is doing? Because who is the controlling body for all the CAPF? Ministry of Home Affairs. So in 2025 MHA gave a directive to all the agencies. Later on other agencies would also do the same thing, that you should try to do similar kind of thing. Induction of indigenous Indian canine breed, part of broader post to self-reliance. Same thing we have discussed in the defense forces. Briefly we talk about the indigenous breed. 2 breeds Assam Rifle has already identified, which gradually will be inducted in the force. These are Tangkhul Hui, okay, that is the breed, this dog. Okay, this is the dog referred as Tangkhul Hui. It is native to which region? Ukhrul district of Manipur. Okay, so why they have taken from Manipur? Because first of all, what is the responsibility of Assam Rifle? To guard entire which border? India and Myanmar border. So they are recruited, they are deployed there, they would have identified it. What is the region this dog breed has been identified as a potential candidate? Highly disease resistant. And second, traditionally they have been used for hunting purposes. So if traditionally they have been used for hunting purposes, it is easier for them to train because they have genetic predisposition toward it. Easier to train, okay, highly disease resistant, plus they are also adjusted or suited to which kind of area? This terrain, okay, the climate, we can say local climate and weather and all that. They can easily adjust and will be able to effectively work there. Second dog breed that has been selected is which one? Kombai. Okay, Kombai is considered as indigenous to which region of India? Tamil Nadu. Okay, strong guarding instinct. Suitable partner based, suitable partner breed for Thankul Hui as such. Okay, so that's why both of these dog breeds. Question like this can be asked in UPSC. Recently, Thankul Hui and Kombai was seen in news. Okay, what is it related to? Lakes, okay, mountain ranges, right? Dog breeds and like that. So that's how they ask questions. So you have to be aware about what was this term in news with reference to it was in news. So Thankul Hui, Kombai. Then training and deployment for the entire Assam rifle. You have only one center. Nowhere else training is done. That is in Jorhat. Jorhat is region in Assam. So Assam Rifles Dog Training Center. That is where these dogs will be trained. Only such facility. That makes it interesting. Only such facility operated by this particular force, Assam Rifle, is located in Jorhat. Roles after training, 3 roles we can say. What are the roles these dogs are expected to perform? They'll act as a guard dog. Guard dog means they have to repel any kind of threat as such. Okay, so guard dog. Guard dogs are also many times people who are living alone. For example, old age people. Okay, they keep this dog as a guard dog. Right. So for thief, right, dacoits on all this, they can repel. Then we have tracker dog. Tracker dog, simple. What is tracker dog? They track. Okay, you give them scent, a particular scent. Okay, like for suppose terrorist has carried out attack and they have run away, and suppose some of his weapons or something, okay, is left behind. What they will do? They will catch the scent and try to find their track as such. And third is detection dog. Detect what? Largely bomb or any contraband, narcotics and all that. They are trained in that. Okay, so you would have seen on airports or railway stations, metros also. If you have some high risk or some threats have been given, what do? They bring this dog. So they keep on walking wherever or around some bags, for example. If they feel that there is something there, they will simply sit down. Right? That's how they do. How will police know that whether there is a bomb or not? Okay, so they walk. Okay, smell walk. If they see that there is something, they will sit directly there. That means that has to be investigated, inspected as well. Right? So guard dog, tracker dog, detection dog. Deployment in which region? Northeast. And many times Assam Rifle also is sent to Jammu and Kashmir to fight terrorism or counter militancy operations. Okay, so in there also many times they have been deployed across. That is the point. Operational importance, same, assistance in detection of arms, explosive detection and narcotics detection. Because this is also important. We know that northeastern India, which Assam Rifle is largely given the responsibility to guard, is suffering from which problem? Northeast insurgency. And we know this insurgency to a large extent is backed by China and Pakistan as such. So how are they able to supply weapons to these insurgent groups? Cross the border. So you have Manipur border, Mizoram border, Nagaland border. So that border through Myanmar and sometime from Bangladesh also a lot of arms shipment is sent. Okay, so we have this integrated checkpost, we have running borders and all that. And if thousands and thousands, not thousands, but hundreds and hundreds of trucks are coming every day, how do you know that in which truck you have the arms and all? Okay, for human it becomes very difficult and a challenging task to detect as such. There these dogs play a very important role. Okay, it basically reduces the burden of the Assam Rifle and the forces. So that is the thing. Same for explosive and narcotics also. Narcotics, again, see, that's how you have to frame your answer. For example, suppose you're writing this in mains examination. All these points you remember. You can simply write detection of arms, explosive detection, narcotic detection. That would be very general answer. Okay, what you should focus upon, depending obviously on the marks of question, substantiate. Whatever you're writing, it should be backed with facts. So why we need arms detection? Point I told you, because you have the prevalence of northeast insurgents in this area. Why we need narcotics detection? In internal security, you would have studied about the region. Northeastern region is in close proximity to which area? Golden Triangle. Okay, so Golden Triangle Myanmar, Laos, Thailand. And through Manipur border, Mizoram border, large amount of drugs are being brought here. Similarly, in the western part, what do we have? Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, called as Golden Crescent. So India is kind of unfortunately sandwiched between two major drug hub of the world, Golden Crescent, Golden Triangle. That is why one of the worst drug affected state of India will find Punjab along Pakistan border and Mizoram along Golden Triangle border, this Myanmar border as such, right? That is why narcotics detection is required here. Crucial in counter-insurgency operations. That is why enhances operational efficiency, especially in which kind of zone? In the high-risk zone as well. That's why we have this. Current versus future composition. Okay, so these dogs are sad because now they have to go away. So which dogs you have here? 3 breeds currently is being used by Assam Rifle. Belgian Malinois, German Shepherd, you can identify yourself. Okay, someone is someone. So Belgian Malinois, German Shepherd, another is Labrador is missing here. Okay, so these 3 dogs are largely being used by Assam Rifle for the same purpose. They will be replaced by the 2 breeds that we have discussed before as such. Future plan, full induction of indigenous breeds by 2027, gradual replacement of foreign breeds by 2050. Understand? By 2027, we will stop inducting foreign breed dog. But whoever is in operation, they will keep on working. By 2050, what will happen? All of them will die, right? So by that time, we will only be having which breed? Indigenous breed. So that's why these 2 years. Long-term sustainability and climate adaptability is a driving factor. Okay, because if we are dependent on Indian breeds, we can, as per our advantage, procure as much as we want. And same time, they are better adjusted to climate here. Okay, many people you would have seen, just because they take like Alaskan Malamute. In Bangalore also you would have seen, or Siberian Husky for example. And they have to face a lot of struggle because they are not suitable for this climate, hot climate, tropical climate. They are habituated of living in -20, -30. So here most of energy they are spending what? Surviving itself. That is also not good. It is kind of animal cruelty if you ask frankly. That is what also they have taken into consideration. Better to have adjusted climate adapted dog than the foreign breeds. About Assam Rifles, because one chapter in internal security you have to study about is security forces and their mandate. So one of the forces is Assam Rifles. So briefly if you look, this already told you, considered as what? Oldest paramilitary force of India. Established in the British time itself, which year? 1835. That time the force was referred by what name? Kachar Levy. Okay, so 1835, British referred it as Kachar Levy. Later on, its name was changed to Assam Rifle in 1918, actually, after they fought in World War I. Role is simple, counter-insurgency, northeast major operation. Apart from that, they are also border guarding force responsible for entire about 1600 kilometers long Indo-Myanmar border that you have. Functions under which ministry? Administrative control over is exercised by MHA, but operational control is exercised by Ministry of Defense. So that is also unique point of this force. No other paramilitary force have this kind of duality. All other paramilitary forces are controlled by which ministry? Only MHA. This is the only ministry, this force that is also having operational control by Ministry of Defense as such. That makes it unique in nature as such. Right, so that is the point here. Now coming to few questions we can take a look at related to today's topic. First is about ricin. Okay, so ricin is a naturally occurring toxin extracted from castor beans. True or false? Okay, true. Second, it blocks protein synthesis in cells leading to cellular death. It has a widely available and effective antidote. True or false? False. Okay, I told you that. That is the reason why threat level is very high, because even if you know that someone has consumed ricin, saving them becomes quite challenging task because antidote is missing. Listed as Schedule 1 substance under the CWC, Chemical Weapons Convention. So what is the correct answer? Right, 1, 2 and 4 only, B. Then next is, consider the following statement regarding Assam Rifles. India's oldest paramilitary force, yes or no? Yes, I discussed 1835. Actually, the force was raised by British for what purpose? To protect their tea plantations. Okay, because British had a lot of tea plantations in Assam area, Darjeeling area, and tribals of that region keep on raiding it. That is why British wanted some forces which can protect the tea plantations against tribal attack. That is why it was raised. Later on, They were brought by British to fight in World War I, and that is when they saw extreme valor, courage and all that. So British got very impressed. They said that it is better to convert it into a full-fledged force, okay, rather than just tea protection force. So that is when in 1918 it was created as a Assam Rifle. Functions under the exclusive control of, okay, we just have discussed two ministries are controlling it. Administrative control by MHA, operational control by Ministry of Defense. Okay, what does it mean? Administrative control means recruitment, we can say transfer, posting, right, promotion, these kind of things, disbursement of salaries and all these is responsibility of MHA, right? But when they are carrying out certain operation, suppose they have been involved in counter-insurgency operation, they will work under which ministry? Defense Ministry, okay, under the lieutenant rank. Then we have lieutenant colonel rank officer. Second, it was originally established as the Kachar Levy. This was discussed in 1835, primarily responsible for counter-insurgency operation northeast and guarding the Indo-Myanmar border, right? So again, second is incorrect. What is the correct option? A, 1, 3 and 4. Then consider the following statement regarding first topic we have discussed about is Sawal Kot Hydroelectric Project located on the Chenab River in Jammu and Kashmir. True or false? True. Okay, Chenab. Which region? Jammu and Kashmir. Which district? Ramban. Designed as a run of the river project. Okay, we have discussed that is why it does not violate IWT. Third, it involves large scale diversion of water to Eastern River under the Indus Water Treaty. Right. So what do we have here? This is incorrect. Diversion of water to Eastern River is not being done because what kind of project it is? Run of the river. We are not taking the water to supply in some other area. We are simply changing the path. Water itself will flow in the same channel and will go to Pakistan as such. Fourth, it has been declared as a project of national importance as such. So what is the correct answers? 1, 2 and 4 as such, right? That is the Sawal Kot. Then last topic question regarding the same. Indus Water Treaty, very, very important. Make sure, because Indus Water Treaty is continuously coming in news. There is a high probability river you have to river system you have to study, right? Hydroelectric projects and all that. So go through current affairs static part in detail. Signed in 1960 between India and Pakistan with World Bank facilitation. Right, we have discussed World Bank was the mediator. Second, Chenab River is classified as Western River under the treaty. True or false? True. Indus, Chenab, Jhelum. Okay. You can remember like this also. Chief Justice of India, CJI. These are Western River. CJI is not in India anymore. He has been given to who? Pakistan. Okay. So Chenab, Jhelum, Indus. Remaining is what? BRS, Byas River and Satluj to India. Then correct. India has exclusive right over the waters of Western River. That is incorrect. We have exclusive right over Eastern River. Treaty provides mechanism for dispute resolution through dialogue and arbitration. True or false? True. I told you three mechanisms. Bilateral mechanism, then we have the neutral expert committee, and then we have the court of arbitration. So all these three are which kind of example? Dialogue and arbitration. Okay, if you're not satisfied here, go to here. If you're not satisfied here, go to here. But whatever is the final ultimate decision by COA, it has to be final and binding on both the parties. That is what treaty says. So what is the correct option? 1, 2 and 4. Okay, again A would be the right answer. Right. So that is what we have to study as far as this particular week is concerned.